Do you run a chiropractic practice? If so, I bet you would love to know how to increase your revenues, right? Well, how about doubling them? And that's just the start. For the last decade, I've been helping chiropractors and healthcare professionals generate, frankly, outstanding results, like Dr. Jill and Dr. Bob. I want to share some of the secret strategies that I taught them that is going to blow your mind. Let's go. Okay, step one in doubling your revenues is what we call the time value principle. This is such an important principle because a lot of newer docs come out of school and we think that we're exchanging our time for money. And that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, one of the biggest reasons why I didn't want to be a massage therapist is because I didn't want to be stuck for a fixed fee for a fixed amount of time that I spent with a patient. I wanted to be able to do something that delivered value for a patient, that the value was paid for, not the time. But like you, I got stuck in this early on in practice because I wanted to overcompensate for being a new doc. I didn't understand treatment planning as well. My skills were still pretty early in getting the outcomes that I dreamed from my patients now. And so what happened to me is I started spending more time with a patient. I would answer their questions right there as I was treating them. And I felt like, man, the more I could pour into them, the more value that they would feel from me and the more patients that they would refer me. But that was further from the truth than I ever imagined. In fact, what happened is patients just began to expect that. When I started to recognize these problems and increase the volume of my practice and I had more demand for our patient slots, I started spending less time with the patients and they kind of were bugged by it. They didn't understand why I was kind of shooing them to move on to the next patient, and that did not create an incredible culture within the practice that I wanted to develop with my patients. And so I had to explain to the patients what these specific appointments were for and how to actually communicate with us. And by reducing my time, delivering the adjustment efficiently and impactfully, and then allowing other team members to deliver the rest of the services within the practice, and building a community where patients could come to that community and ask their questions and have, of course, the re-exams where we would spend a little bit more time with them to answer their questions. This is so powerful, understanding the patient's perception of value. It's not time, it's outcomes. And what you're sharing with the patient is how we produce these outcomes. That it's not just me that produces the outcome, it's the systems. And when you have questions and need them answered, we have a process in place for you to have those questions answered, but in a very efficient way. In fact, one of the most powerful things you can do is do that in a group so that other patients can benefit from those questions. You are building a community just like I'm building a community here. And that's what I want you to tap into is the time value principle. Stop exchanging value for your time. That is not the business that we're in. Now, if you're ready to scale to six-figure months, then you need our Double Your Profits formula. And all you have to do is in the comments below, just type, "I'm in." And either me or one of my team members will make sure you get a copy of that formula. So just type, "I'm in" the comments below. Now, the second step in this process of doubling your collections is looking at your average case value. Your average case value is, on average, when a patient comes into your practice, this is the amount of money that you're going to receive for treating them. Now, of course, you've got different cases coming into your practice. The most successful practices really find the number one most valuable case to attract. This is a complex case, a patient that needs to be with you longer, that needs to go through more phases of care to actually achieve their health goals. And the way you're going to find this number is simply by taking your total monthly collections divided by the number of patients that started care that month. Now, the bigger data set you have, the closer to that number you'll actually get. And inside of our Blue IQ and data-driven systems, we actually analyze and calculate that more accurately for you, but at least get in the ballpark. And so you're going to take your total collections divided by the number of patients who started care with you. If you're below 1,800, we actually kind of consider that unhealthy. depending on your new patient acquisition cost, but you're doing a lot of work to generate that $1,800, and you're probably a high volume practice. If you're between $1,800 and $4,200, that's kind of average. We have a practice that, is kind of figuring it out. They've got their systems in place. They're really attracting more complex cases and building more value for those patients. If you're above $4,200, now you're healthy. That is a practice that really understands that they're delivering a tremendous amount of value in less time, because again, this isn't time that we're exchanging for money. This is value of outcome, patient outcomes. And we have found the secret sauce to building extremely high case value in the practice. That's secret number 2. Now again, if you love this kind of content and you kind of geek out over the numbers like I do, you realize that running a practice is just math, and we got to figure out the numbers in your practice to make sure that you're building your dream practice. I want to help you. I want to give you more tools. In fact, we have a bonus cheat sheet that's called the ultimate shortcut to seeing instant profits in your practice. And all you have to do is type in the comments below, "I'm a data-driven doc." That means I'm a data-driven doc. I make data-driven decisions. So that's it. You type that in, and either me or one of my team members will also get you this incredible cheat sheet so that you can start unlocking incredible profits in your practice. Just type, "I'm a data-driven doc." So step number 3, and actually doubling your revenues, means that you've got to become the doctor known for that complex case. This is what we call niche marketing. We really want you to attract those more complex cases, so you're spending time with the patients that deliver the highest return on your services. And there's a few steps in being able to do that, because you've got to create this identity, an identity of an expert known for being able to handle these complex cases. And we don't want you to build the identity around you. We want you to build the identity around your system. It's your system that actually can unlock the healing potential in these patients who suffer with this specific condition. That way, you're interchangeable when you bring in an associate or you bring in other team members to deliver the system. The patient outcomes still retain such a high level of results. And you've got to create content around that expertise. You've got to really build content showing a patient in that transformation. You've got to build story around your character. You've got to build content that tells the story of how you discovered this new way of solving patients' problems that are suffering with this complex case. How did you discover it? What expertise did you gain? What patterns were you seeing in the patients that you were treating that allowed you to put these new pieces together that are now generating unbelievable outcomes? And then it's just a matter of going live on Facebook. I want you to go live and share in your community the results that patients are having. I want you to interview those patients and talk about they were suffering with this and they were not able to do this. And now after going through your system, they're able to do this. Their life is back. Their quality of life has skyrocketed. That is the secret, guys, to doubling your profits. Do you realize that if patients knew the outcomes that you were having, that your practice's waiting list would be a mile long? You're just not communicating enough. You have got to shout from the rooftop the results that you're getting. And that's why you have to go live on Facebook. Now we're building a community of data-driven docs that are passionate about this, how to actually use the math that runs the practice by the numbers, but it's all about purpose, passion, and profits. You have to take responsibility for that because you're the leader of your organization. But you're not alone. You don't have to do this by yourself. In fact, we have an incredible free opportunity for you to join what's called the Turn Your Data into Dollars Challenge. Come be with us. It's a 10-day challenge. We're going to go live, give you a tremendous amount of value to help you learn the math behind running a practice by the numbers. We're going to support you. We're going to lift you in our communities so that you can have the success that you've always dreamed of. You can actually provide for your family. You can provide for your team members, the salaries, the bonuses, the life that you guys have always dreamed of. And that's what we do in the Turn Your Data into Dollars Challenge. So click the link below and I will see you on the inside.